Part 5. Letters to E.K. Letter 61. It is not the business of monastics to concern themselves about lay people. August 26, 1876. With regard to your brothers, I explained to Batyushka concerning them, but do not you worry about them any more. It is not the business of monastics to think about and concern themselves over lay people, even relatives. The Lord has said plainly, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things, that is the good things of this world, shall be added unto you." Matthew 6:33. To go to your Matushka Abbess to say your thoughts is a good work, and may the Lord help you in this. Rooted in ancient Christian and monastic tradition, the practice of saying one's thoughts, or disclosing one's thoughts, or revealing one's thoughts, consists in the confession of one's sins, including and especially one's sins of thought and of one's perplexities, to an elder or elders for the purpose of receiving spiritual counsel. Absolution is not given. This ancient practice had fallen into oblivion in Russia, and its restoration by the elder Leonid had occasioned charges of heresy against him. Eldresses hearing thoughts were accused of assuming the prerogatives of the clergy, and this despite the fact that confession to a priest, along with absolution read only by him, was practiced simultaneously by the nuns. Probably at the time these letters were written, disclosure of thoughts was still viewed as an innovation by some, and many of the nuns were not used to the idea, see especially letter 62. Hence the elder Anatoly tries to encourage his spiritual children in this saving practice. Only you should know that the demons do not at all like people who make it their practice. Read chapters 40, 41, 42, 43, and 44 of Theodore of Edessa in the Philokalia. May the Lord help you. Chapter 40. When you have taken up your dwelling with the spiritual Father and find that he helps you, let no one separate you from his love and from living with him. Do not judge him in any respect. Do not revile him even though he censures or strikes you. Do not listen to someone who slanders him to you. Do not side with anyone who criticizes him, lest the Lord should be angered with you and blot you out of the book of the living. Chapter 41. The struggle to achieve obedience is won by means of renunciation. As we have learned, he who seeks to be obedient must arm himself with 3 weapons: faith, hope, and divine and holy love. Thus defended, he will fight the good fight and receive a crown of righteousness. Chapter 42. Do not judge the actions of your spiritual father, but obey his commands, for the demons are in the habit of showing you his defects, so that your ears may be deaf to what he tells you. They aim either to drive you from the arena as a feeble and cowardly fighter, or simply to terrify you with the thoughts that undermine your faith, and so to make you sluggish about every form of virtue. Chapter 43. A monk who disobeys the commands of his spiritual father transgresses the special vows of his profession. But he who has embraced obedience and slain his own will with the sword of humility has indeed fulfilled the promise that he made to Christ in the presence of many witnesses. Chapter 44. From our own observations, we have clearly perceived that the enemies of our life, the demons, are exceedingly jealous of those pursuing the ascetic way under obedience to a spiritual father, gnashing their teeth at them and devising all sorts of schemes that do and suggest everything possible so as to separate a monk from his spiritual father's care. They propose plausible excuses, they contrive irritations, they arouse hatred against the father, they represent his admonitions as rebukes, they make his words of correction seem like sharpened arrows. Why, they ask, since you are free, have you become a slave to a merciless master? How long will you wear yourself out under the yoke of servitude and not see the light of freedom? Then they make suggestions about giving hospitality, visiting the sick, and caring for the poor. Next, they extol above measure the rewards of extreme stillness and solitude, and sow all sorts of evil weeds in the heart of the devout warrior, simply to cast him out of the fold of his spiritual father, and having unmoored him from that untroubled heaven, they drive him out to sea into the fierce and soul-destroying tempest. Finally, when they have enslaved him to their own authority, they use him according to their own evil desires. See the Philokalia, Volume 2, page 21.